Welcome to Travel Tons, where adventurous people go, a place where you can find travel ideas. 15 celebrations in the world you must know. Shoey Celebration Canada. Drinking from a shoe has historically been performed as both a bringer of good fortune, a hazing punishment, or a party piece. Drinking champagne from a lady's slipper became a symbol of decadence in the early 20th century. The practice remains particularly popular in Australia, where it is called doing a shoey. Australian motor rider Jack Miller celebrated his first premier class victory by drinking champagne out of his shoe at the Dutch Circuit of Assen on 26 June 2016. Since then, Formula One driver Daniel Ricciardo, another Australian, has also performed shoeys on the podium. Even Post Malone did shoey. Screechers. Newfoundland Screech is used in a ceremony known as the screech-in. The screech-in is a ceremony performed on non-Newfoundlanders, known to Newfoundlanders as a come from away or mainlander, involving a shot of screech, a short recitation, and the kissing of a cod. It is often performed either in homes or more commonly in town pubs, such as those on George Street, St. John's. Notable for their screech-in traditions would be Trapper John's, O'Reilly's Irish Newfoundland Pub and Christian's Bar. Screech-ins also take place aboard tourist boat excursions such as the Scademia, which adds to the ceremony a sail through the Narrows into St. John's Harbour. The general process of a screech-in varies from pub to pub and community to community, though it often begins with the leader of the ceremony introducing themselves and asking those present if they'd like to become a Newfoundlander. The proper response would be a hearty yes by. They are then asked, "Are ye a Screecher? Or is you a Newfoundlander?" and are taught the proper response, "Indeed I is me alcock, and long may your big jib draw." Translated, it means yes I am, my old friend, and may your sails always catch wind. A codfish or any other fish unsightly enough to suitably replace the cod is then held up to the lip level of each participant, who then bestows the fish with a kiss. Line crossing ceremony. The line crossing ceremony is an initiation rite that commemorates a person's first crossing of the equator. The tradition may have originated with ceremonies when passing headlands, and become a folly, sanctioned as a boost to morale, or have been created as a test for seasoned sailors to ensure their new shipmates were capable of handling long, rough voyages. Equator crossing ceremonies, typically featuring King Neptune, are common in the Navy, and are also sometimes carried out for passengers' entertainment on civilian ocean liners and cruise ships. They are also performed in the Merchant Navy and aboard sail training ships. Throughout history, line crossing ceremonies have sometimes become dangerous hazing rituals. Most modern navies have instituted regulations that prohibit physical attacks on sailors undergoing the line crossing ceremony. After crossing the line, Pollywogs receive subpoenas to appear before King Neptune and his court, usually including his first assistant Davy Jones, and Her Highness Amphitrite, and often various dignitaries, who are all represented by the highest-ranking sailors who are shellbacks, who officiate at the ceremony, which is often preceded by a beauty contest of men dressing up as women, each department of the ship being required to introduce one contestant in swimsuit drag. Afterwards, some may be interrogated by King Neptune and his entourage, and the use of truth serum, hot sauce plus aftershave, and whole uncooked eggs put in the mouth. During the ceremony, the Pollywogs undergo a number of increasingly embarrassing ordeals, wearing clothing inside out and backwards, crawling on hands and knees on non-skid coated decks, being swatted with short lengths of fire hose, being locked in stocks and pillories and pelted with mushy fruit, being locked in a water coffin of salt water and bright green sea dye fluorescent sodium salt, crawling through chutes or large tubs of rotting garbage, kissing the royal baby's belly, coated with axle grease, hair chopping, largely for the entertainment of the shellbacks. Once the ceremony is complete, a Pollywog receives a certificate declaring his new status. Pride Toronto in New York is an annual event held in Toronto, Ontario, Canada in June each year, a celebration of the diversity of the LGBT community in the Greater Toronto Area. It is one of the largest organized gay pride festivals in the world, featuring several stages with live performers and DJs, several licensed venues, a large dyke march, a trans march and the Pride Parade. The center of the festival is the city's church in Wellesley Village, while the parade and marches are primarily routed along the nearby Yonge Street, Gerrard Street and Bloor Street. In 2014, the event served as the 4th International World Pride, and was much larger than standard Toronto Prides. The event is organized by Pride Toronto, a non-profit organization. A growing complement of 14 staff support the work of 22 festival teams. Each team is responsible for an aspect of the festival. Each team was formerly administered by 2 or 3 volunteer team leads in 2019. The decision was made to strip that down to one lead per team in favor of a staff-centered approach. The long-term vision for, and strategic oversight of, the organization and the festival is intended to be managed by 12 volunteers on the board of directors. As of March 2020, the board consists of 6 members. The first parade occurred in June 1981. For most of its history, Pride was a 7 to 10-day festival centered on the final week in June, with the parade falling on either the last weekend in June or the first weekend in July, depending on the year's circumstances. Since 2016, the entire month of June has been declared Pride Month, with a program of events throughout the month leading up to the parade. San Pedro Cutud Lenten Rites Festival. The San Pedro Cutud Lenten Rites is a Holy Week reenactment of Christ's Passion and Death, which takes place in Barangay San Pedro Cutud, city of San Fernando, Pampanga in the Philippines. It includes a passion play, culminating with the actual nailing of at least 3 penitents to a wooden cross atop the makeshift Calvary. Every year on Good Friday or the Friday before Easter, a dozen or so penitents, mostly men but with the occasional woman, are taken to a rice field in the barrio of San Pedro Cutud, 3 kilometers, 2 miles, from the proper city of San Fernando, Pampanga, and nailed to a cross using 2-inch, 5 centimeters, stainless steel nails that have been soaked in alcohol to disinfect them. The penitents are taken down when they feel cleansed of their sin. Other penitents flagellate themselves using bamboo sticks tied to a rope. The Cutud Lenten Rites has been registered in the Intangible Cultural Heritage Inventory of the Philippines, called Pinagmulan. The move was initiated by the National Commission for Culture and the Arts, the main cultural agency of the Republic of the Philippines. The rites may be nominated for inclusion in the UNESCO Intangible Cultural Heritage lists, where 3 other Philippine intangible heritages have already been inscribed. Wuda Voodoo Festival. Traditional Day or Fête du Vodun, literally Vodun Festival, also known as Traditional Religions Day, is a public holiday in Benin that celebrates the nation's history surrounding the West African religion of Vodun. The celebration is held annually on January 10th throughout the country, but most notably in the city of Wuda. Beginning with the slaughter of a goat in honor of the spirits, the festival is filled with singing, dancing and the imbibing of liquor, especially gin. Vodun was officially declared a religion in Benin in 1996, and the festival has attracted thousands of devotees and tourists to Wuda to participate in the festivities ever since. Krampusnacht, Central Europe. Krampus is a horned, anthropomorphic figure in the Central and Eastern Alpine folklore of Europe, who, during the Advent season, scares children who have misbehaved. Assisting Saint Nicholas, or Santa Claus, the pair visit children on the night of 6 December, with Saint Nicholas rewarding the well-behaved children with gifts such as oranges, dried fruit, walnuts and chocolate, while the badly behaved ones only receive punishment from Krampus with birch rods. Krampus Day itself, on the other hand, is on the 5th of December. The origin of the figure is unclear. Some folklorists and anthropologists have postulated it as having pre-Christian origins. In traditional parades and in such events as the Krampuslauf, English, Krampus Run, young men dressed as Krampus attempt to scare the audience with their antics. Such events occur annually in most alpine towns. Krampus is featured on holiday greeting cards called Krampuskarten. Mardi Gras, New Orleans, Louisiana. Mardi Gras refers to events of the carnival celebration, beginning on or after the Christian feasts of the Epiphany, Three Kings Day, and culminating on the day before Ash Wednesday, which is known as Shrove Tuesday. Mardi Gras is French for Fat Tuesday, reflecting the practice of the last night of eating rich, fatty foods before the ritual Lenten sacrifices and fasting of the Lenten season. Related popular practices are associated with Shrovetide celebrations before the fasting and religious obligations associated with the penitential season of Lent. In countries such as the United Kingdom, Mardi Gras is more usually known as Pancake Day or, traditionally, Shrove Tuesday, derived from the word shrive, meaning to administer the sacrament of confession to absolve. The festival season varies from city to city, as some traditions, such as the one in New Orleans, Louisiana, consider Mardi Gras to stretch the entire period from Twelfth Night, the last night of Christmas, which begins Epiphany, to Ash Wednesday. Others treat the final 3-day period before Ash Wednesday as the Mardi Gras. In Mobile, Alabama, Mardi Gras-associated social events begin in November, followed by Mystic Society balls on Thanksgiving, then New Year's Eve, followed by parades and balls in January and February, celebrating up to midnight before Ash Wednesday. In earlier times, parades were held on New Year's Day. Carnival is an important celebration in Anglican and Catholic European nations. Holi, India. Holi is a popular and significant Hindu festival, It's celebrated as the festival of colors, love and spring. It celebrates the eternal and divine love of the god Radha and Krishna. Additionally, the day also signifies the triumph of good over evil, as it commemorates the victory of Vishnu as Narasimha Narayana over Hiranyakashipu. Holi is originated and is predominantly celebrated in the Indian subcontinent, but has also spread to other regions of Asia and parts of the Western world through the Indian diaspora. Holi also celebrates the arrival of spring in India, the end of winter, and the blossoming of love. It is also an invocation for a good spring harvest season. It lasts for a night and a day, starting on the evening of the Purnima full moon day, falling in the Hindu calendar month of Falguna, which falls around the middle of March in the Gregorian calendar. The Holi festival is an ancient Hindu festival with its cultural rituals. Since time immemorial, the festival finds color in numerous scriptures, such as in works like Jaimini's Purvamamamsa Sutras and Kathaka Graya Sutras, with even detailed descriptions in ancient texts, like the Narad Purana and Bhavishya Purana. The festival of Holokotsav was also mentioned in the 7th century work, Ratnavali, by King Harsha. It is mentioned in the Puranas, Desakumara Charita, and by the poet Kalidsa, during the 4th century reign of Chandragupta II. The celebration of Holi is also mentioned in the 7th century Sanskrit drama Ratnavali. The festival of Holi caught the fascination of European traders and British colonial staff. By the 17th century, Japan Expo. Japan Expo is a convention on Japanese popular culture, the largest of its kind in the world, taking place in Paris, France. Although it has branched out into a partnership festival Cultima, and expanded to include some European and US pop culture as well. It is held yearly at the beginning of July for 4 days, usually from Thursday to Sunday, in the Paris Nord Villepin Exhibition Center, the second largest convention center in France. The attendance has increased steadily over the years, with 2,400 visitors welcomed in the first edition in 1999, and more than 252,510 for the 2019 edition. The first exposition took place in 1999 at the ISC Paris Business School, and welcomed 2,400 visitors, a number which has grown steadily. In 2002, Japan Expo was hosted at the Center of New Industries and Technologies, CNIT, in La Défense, Paris. National Cannabis Festival. The National Cannabis Festival is a yearly, one-day event held at the Robert F. Kennedy Memorial Stadium Festival grounds, with a focus on the music, advocacy, education, and activism related to cannabis in Washington, D.C. The festival debuted in 2016 following the passing of Initiative 71, a voter-approved ballot initiative that legalized recreational use of marijuana in the District of Columbia. It was founded by Carolyn Phillips, who announced the inaugural event with an Indiegogo campaign, raising an initial $21,000 to help cover costs through crowd-sourced fundraising efforts. The festival includes music concerts, an education pavilion, and vendor fair. And you know the exciting part? There is no ticket. You're free to join. Oktoberfest. Oktoberfest is the world's largest Volksfest, featuring a beer festival and a traveling carnival. It is held annually in Munich, Bavaria, running from mid or late September to around the first Sunday in October, with more than 6 million international and national visitors attending the event. Locally, it is called Dweisen, after the colloquial name for the fairgrounds, the Theresienwiese. Oktoberfest is an important part of Bavarian culture, having been held since the year 1810. Other cities across the world also hold Oktoberfest celebrations that are modeled after the original Munich event. During the event, large quantities of Oktoberfest beer are consumed. In 2014, 7.7 million liters, 2 million US gal, were served. Visitors also enjoy numerous attractions, such as amusement rides, side stalls, and games. There is also a wide variety of traditional foods available. Oktoberfest originally took place in the 16-day period leading up to the first Sunday in October. In 1994, this long-standing schedule was modified in response to German reunification. As a result, if the first Sunday in October falls on the 1st or the 2nd, then the festival runs until 3 October, German Unity Day. Thus, the festival now runs for 17 days when the first Sunday is 2 October and 18 days when it is 1 October. In 2010, the festival lasted until the first Monday in October, 4 October, to mark the event's bicentennial. Summerfest. Summerfest is an annual music festival held in downtown Milwaukee, Wisconsin. First held in 1968, Summerfest is located at Henry Mayer Festival Park, adjacent to Lake Michigan, and Milwaukee's Central Business District. Summerfest attracts approximately 800,000 people each year, promoting itself as the world's largest music festival, a title certified by Guinness World Records in 1999. but has been surpassed in attendance by Donwanselfest, with over 3 million in 2015, while Summerfest has one of the highest aggregate attendances in the world. The daily attendance of Summerfest is lower than other major American music festivals. In 2022, the daily attendance of Summerfest was 49,500. During Summerfest, the 75-acre 30-hectare park would usually host performances over 11 days, from late June until early July, including the 4th of July. It was announced recently that the festival would move to a 3-weekend schedule, to allow for more Friday and Saturday event days. The performers include local and nationally known music talent from various genres, performing throughout the grounds from noon to midnight, including the 23,000-capacity American Family Insurance Amphitheater. Since 2004, nearly $150 million has been invested into Henry Mayer Festival Park, including permanent stages, bars, production space, VIP amenities, and other infrastructure. Summerfest also showcases a wide variety of food from many Milwaukee area restaurants. Other Summerfest attractions include shopping vendors, fireworks, including the Big Bang on opening night, family activities, and more. Summerfest is operated by Milwaukee World Festival Incorporated, a non-profit organization, which is governed by a volunteer board of directors. The Taste of Chicago. Montreal International Jazz Festival. The Montreal International Jazz Festival is an annual jazz festival held in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. The Montreal Jazz Fest holds the 2004 Guinness World Record as the world's largest jazz festival. Every year it features roughly 3,000 artists from 30-odd countries, more than 650 concerts, including 450 free outdoor performances, and welcomes over 2 million visitors, 12.5% of whom are tourists, as well as 300 accredited journalists. The festival takes place at 20 different stages, which include free outdoor stages and indoor concert halls. A major part of the city's downtown core is closed to traffic for 10 days, as free outdoor shows are open to the public and held on many stages at the same time, from noon until midnight. The festival's big event concerts typically draw between 100,000 and 150,000 people, and can occasionally exceed 200,000. Shows are held in a wide variety of venues, from relatively small jazz clubs to the large concert halls of Place des Arts. Some of the outdoor shows are held on the cordoned-off streets, while others are in terrace parks. Carnival in Rio de Janeiro. The Carnival in Rio de Janeiro is a festival held every year before Lent. It is considered the biggest carnival in the world, with 2 million people per day on the streets. The first carnival festival in Rio occurred in 1723. The typical Rio Carnival parade is filled with revelers, floats, and adornments from numerous samba schools, which are located in Rio, more than 200 approximately, divided into 5 leagues divisions. A samba school is composed of a collaboration of local neighbors that want to attend the carnival together, with some kind of regional, geographical, and common background. There is a special order that every school has to follow with their parade entries. Each school begins with the comissão de frente, meaning front commission. That is the group of people from the school that appear first. Made of 10 to 15 people, the comissão de frente introduces the school and sets the mood and style of their presentation. These people have choreographed dances and elaborate costumes that usually tell a short story. Following the comissão de frente is the first float of the samba school, called Abarolas, opening wing. These are followed by the Mestre Sala and Porta Bandeira, master of ceremonies and flag bearer, with 1 to 4 pairs, 1 active and 3 reserve, to lead the dancers, which include the Old Guard veterans and the Ala das Baianas, with the drum line battery at the rear, and sometimes a brass section and guitars. Have you learned anything new? Where would you want to go? We make a list of ideas, guides, and recommendations for traveling. For more videos, click the subscribe button. Thank you.